Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins Hub. In today's video we are going to explore something really interesting and exciting. Stay with us and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. In 1990, a coin was minted that would not only symbolize the history and spirit of the United States but also one day stand out as a rare and highly valuable piece of American numismatic history. This coin, the 1990 USA quarter dollar, was part of the long legacy of the U.S. quarter, but it would go on to achieve far more than most of its contemporaries. For coin collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike, this quarter represents much more than just a simple unit of currency. It's a testament to the American story. To understand the value of the 1990 USA quarter dollar, we must first take a step back and explore the historical context that led to its minting. The United States has a long and rich history with coinage, dating back to the 18th century. The quarter itself, which has been a staple of American currency since the Coinage Act of 1792, has undergone numerous changes in design over the years. By the time the 1990 quarter was issued, the coin had already been part of various important design changes that reflected the evolution of the country. In the 1990s, the United States was in the midst of a transformative period. The country was experiencing significant political and economic changes, including the end of the Cold War and the rise of globalization. This period marked the tail end of the Reagan presidency, with George H.W. Bush serving as president. The early 1990s were also a time when Americans were seeing increased interest in collecting coins as a hobby. It was during this period that certain coins began to gain popularity for their rarity, historical significance, and unique characteristics. But even amid this growing interest, the 1990 USA quarter dollar seemed like just another typical minting. Little did anyone know that it would become one of the most sought-after coins in modern history. The design of the 1990 USA quarter dollar coin was influenced by several factors, including the ongoing tradition of the quarter and the need to reflect American culture and values. Like all quarters produced after 1932, the 1990 coin featured the classic design of George Washington, the first president of the United States. The original Washington quarter, designed by John Flanagan, had been in circulation for decades. However, it wasn't until 1999 that the United States introduced the 50-state quarters program, which brought fresh designs and sparked a new wave of interest in collecting quarters. Despite the innovative nature of the 50-state quarters program, the 1990 quarter didn't immediately stand out. However, the value of a coin is not always determined by its design alone. Its rarity and the conditions in which it was minted play a huge role. And in the case of the 1990 quarter, certain factors align to make it an extremely rare and valuable piece of American numismatic history. Minting errors are one of the primary ways in which coins can gain significant value. When a minting error occurs, the result is often a coin that is completely unique, which creates a frenzy among collectors. The 1990 USA quarter dollar is particularly known for a rare minting error that significantly increased its worth. The error involved a rare die clash, which occurs when the dies used to strike the coin collide, leaving a permanent mark on the coin's surface. This rare occurrence, along with a few other anomalies, made the 1990 quarter highly desirable among collectors. The 1990 USA quarter dollar's value is also tied to the timing of its release. While it may have seemed like just another coin in circulation at the time, the circumstances surrounding the early 1990s, particularly in the world of coin collecting, made it more likely that coins from this period would be preserved in pristine condition. This has contributed to the fact that many of the 1990 quarters that have survived are in near-perfect shape, which further drives up their value. In addition to the rare minting errors, there is another key reason why the 1990 USA quarter dollar has become so valuable: its rarity in high-quality condition. Coins that are well preserved, free from wear and tear, and still feature the sharp details of their design are incredibly rare. Many coins from this period were used in everyday transactions, meaning that most of them were exposed to wear and damage. However, a select few were carefully stored or remained in pristine condition, making them incredibly valuable to collectors. The allure of these coins is not just about their monetary value, but also about their story. The 1990 quarter serves as a snapshot of a pivotal moment in American history. The coin was minted at a time when the U.S. was dealing with major economic changes, the end of the Cold War, and a shifting political landscape. Holding one of these rare coins is like holding a piece of that history in your hand, a tangible connection to the past. For collectors, the hunt for a rare and valuable coin can be an exciting and rewarding experience. There is something thrilling about finding a coin that has been hidden away for decades, just waiting to be discovered. The 1990 USA quarter dollar is one of those rare finds that brings with it not only a sense of pride but also the promise of financial reward. So, what is the current value of this exceptional coin? Well, after all of these years, a 1990 USA quarter dollar with a minting error or in pristine condition can be worth an astounding $136,000. Yes, you read that right, $136,000. This value can vary depending on the exact condition of the coin, whether it has any minting errors, and its provenance. However, for those lucky enough to possess one, the 1990 quarter is not just a piece of currency, it's a small fortune. Collectors who are fortunate enough to come across one of these rare coins often find themselves holding on to it, knowing that its value will continue to grow as time passes. For many, it's a long-term investment, and for others, it's a chance to own a piece of American history that can't be replaced. And for those who don't own one yet, the search continues, because every rare coin has its day, and the next discovery might just be around the corner. To wrap things up, the 1990 USA quarter dollar is much more than just a coin. It's a rare, valuable artifact that tells the story of America's past while also offering a glimpse into the future of coin collecting. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual collector, this coin represents a unique opportunity to hold a piece of history in your hand. The next time you come across a 1990 quarter, take a moment to examine it closely. You might just be looking at a coin worth more than you ever imagined. In 1994, a particular coin was minted that would go on to captivate numismatists, collectors, and investors alike. It was an unassuming coin at first glance, like most others in circulation. But little did anyone know that the 1994 USA quarter dollar would one day stand out as one of the most valuable coins in American history. This seemingly ordinary quarter would become an extraordinary rarity, attracting attention for its unique characteristics, its historical significance, and, ultimately, its astonishing value. The story of this coin begins with a deep dive into its historical context, its design, and the minting process, eventually leading to its status as a highly coveted collector's item. To understand the 1994 USA quarter dollar, we must first consider the larger historical picture. Coinage has always been an integral part of any nation's identity, and the United States is no exception. Since the early days of the Republic, coins have reflected the values, heroes, and historical moments of the country. The quarter, a coin that has been in circulation for centuries, is particularly emblematic of this idea. Over the years, the quarter has undergone various redesigns, but one thing has remained constant: the representation of American ideals. By 1994, the U.S. quarter had seen several significant design changes. The 1994 quarter was part of the ongoing Washington Quarter series, which had been in circulation since 1932. George Washington's likeness, designed by John Flanagan, had been the face of the quarter for decades. However, by the time the 1994 coin was minted, the quarter had already undergone a number of significant transitions, including changes in its composition and its role in the American economy. The 1990s were a time of great change in the U.S. politically, economically, and socially. The end of the Cold War, the rise of global trade, and an era of prosperity under President Bill Clinton defined the landscape. But beyond the political and economic changes, the 1990s were also a time when American coin collectors began to take a renewed interest in the hobby. During this period, collectors began to notice patterns in certain coin designs, minting errors, and rare characteristics that made certain coins more valuable than others, the 1994 quarter didn't seem out of the ordinary at first. It was part of the standard Washington quarter series and, in fact, was one of the millions of quarters struck at the U.S. Mint that year. However, like many coins, its value would ultimately be determined by the specific details of its production, the rarity of certain varieties, and the condition in which it survived. One of the key factors in determining a coin's value is its design. For the 1994 quarter, the design remained largely the same as in previous years. The obverse side of the coin featured a portrait of George Washington, while the reverse side displayed an eagle in flight, symbolizing strength and freedom. The quarter had become a symbol of American pride, and its classic design resonated with many who appreciated the historical legacy it represented. However, the true appeal of the 1994 quarter would come from its rarity and the conditions under which it was minted. As with all coins, minting errors can play a significant role in a coin's value. Even the slightest mistake during the minting process can result in a coin that is completely unique, making it highly desirable to collectors. The 1994 quarter, like many other coins of the era, was subject to various potential errors during production. These errors, ranging from die cracks to double strikes, were not common but were significant when they did occur. Some of these errors were so rare that they have since become highly sought after by collectors looking for the most unusual and valuable pieces to add to their collections. One of the most notable errors associated with the 1994 quarter involves a variety of struck coins with misaligned dies. A die misalignment occurs when the dies used to strike the coin become misaligned during the minting process. This results in a coin with off-center designs, unusual markings, or an imperfect strike. These errors are rare, and when they do occur, they often result in coins that are highly prized by collectors. A small number of 1,994 quarters with misaligned dies were produced, and these coins are among the most valuable of the 1994 issue. Another factor that contributes to the value of the 1994 USA quarter dollar is its condition. Like most coins, quarters that were used in daily transactions experienced wear and tear over time. Coins that were kept in circulation for long periods of time often became worn down, losing sharp details and showing signs of use. However, a select few of the 1994 quarters were carefully stored away, preserved in near-mint condition, and these coins are the ones that have commanded the highest prices. For a coin to achieve top-tier value, it must not only be rare but also in pristine condition, and the 1994 quarter is no exception. Those that have been well preserved and remain in excellent condition are prized possessions among collectors. The market for rare coins has always been driven by the search for these exceptional pieces. As collectors and investors began to recognize the rarity and appeal of certain varieties of the 1994 quarter, the demand for these coins began to rise. For those who had the foresight to hold on to these coins in the hopes of selling them later, the payoff has been substantial. The rare 1994 quarters with minting errors, as well as those in excellent condition, have become some of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. Now, you might be wondering, what is the current value of the 1994 USA quarter dollar? After all the time that has passed since it was first minted, how much could this seemingly ordinary coin be worth? Well, the value of the 1994 quarter can range depending on its condition, any minting errors it may have, and the market demand at the time. However, one thing is clear: a 1994 USA quarter dollar in excellent condition, particularly one that features a rare minting error such as a misaligned die, can command an astonishing price. Some of these coins have been known to sell for as much as $128,000. Yes, you read that right, $128,000. That is the value of the rarest 1994 quarters in the market today. Of course, not every 1994 quarter will fetch such a high price, but those that are in exceptional condition or have rare minting errors can be worth a significant amount. For collectors, owning one of these coins represents not only the potential for a substantial financial return but also the chance to own a piece of American history. The 1994 USA quarter dollar serves as a reminder that even coins that seem ordinary at first glance can be transformed into extraordinary treasures over time. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist, an aspiring collector, or someone just beginning to explore the world of coin collecting, the 1994 quarter offers a fascinating glimpse into the world of rare coins and the history of American currency. As the value of these coins continues to rise, the 1994 quarter remains an iconic piece of U.S. coinage, a symbol of American pride, and an opportunity for collectors to own a truly valuable piece of history. So, the next time you come across a 1994 USA quarter, take a moment to examine it closely. You may just be holding a coin worth far more than you ever expected. Whether you decide to hold on to it for the long term or pass it along to a collector who truly appreciates its value, remember that in the world of coin collecting, anything can be more than it seems. Sometimes, a simple quarter can be worth a small fortune. In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced a coin that would become a focal point for collectors and coin enthusiasts around the world. The 1979 USA 5-cent coin, commonly known as the nickel, is far more than just a simple denomination of currency. It tells a story of American history, the evolution of coinage, and, perhaps most surprisingly, the potential for incredible value that would have seemed unimaginable at the time of its release. The journey of this seemingly humble coin begins with its historical context, design, minting details, and the way it would capture the imagination of collectors. But the most fascinating part of this story is how it would ultimately achieve an eye-popping value that continues to intrigue numismatists. To understand the significance of the 1979 5-cent coin, we must first appreciate the historical backdrop against which it was minted. The 1970s were a decade of major change in the United States. It was a time of political shifts, cultural transformation, and economic challenges. The end of the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal, the rise of environmental awareness, and the energy crisis were just a few of the key events that shaped this era. These events set the stage for a period of political and economic uncertainty, but also of innovation, reflection, and a renewed interest in American heritage. Amid these changes, coinage played a subtle yet important role in representing the nation's ideals. The 5-cent coin, or nickel, had been in circulation for decades and had undergone several design changes. By 1979, the nickel had been through numerous iterations, but none of them had quite the lasting impact of the 1938 design. That year marked the introduction of the iconic Jefferson nickel, which featured a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse side, and an image of his home, Monticello, on the reverse. This design had been in use for decades and would continue to be struck well into the 21st century. However, 1979 was a pivotal year for the nickel, marking the beginning of a period in which the coin would gain a renewed sense of intrigue and appeal among collectors. The Mint, which had been producing coins with the Jefferson design for over 40 years, would continue with that same motif in 1979. But it was not just the design that would captivate the attention of collectors, it was the unique features of the coin that would ultimately set it apart. While the 1979 nickel wasn't the first to introduce new elements to the Jefferson series, it would go on to achieve an almost mythical status in the world of coin collecting. One of the most compelling factors that contribute to the value of the 1979 5-cent coin is the design itself. The obverse of the coin, which features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, had been created by artist Felix Schlag, who won a public competition for the design in 1938. Jefferson, who is widely regarded as one of America's founding fathers and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, had already been memorialized on various U.S. coins, but the nickel would serve as one of the most enduring tributes to his legacy. On the reverse side, the image of Monticello, Jefferson's grand plantation home in Virginia, served as a symbol of Jefferson's life and achievements. The depiction of Monticello on the nickel, designed by John Reich, was a direct representation of Jefferson's enduring influence on American history. This iconic image had been struck on the nickel for decades and remained unchanged in 1979, giving the coin a sense of continuity in its design. Yet, the year 1979 brought an unexpected twist to the story of this coin. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1979 nickel is the variety of minting errors that occurred during its production. As with any mass production process, the minting of coins is susceptible to occasional mistakes, and these errors can make certain coins highly sought after by collectors. For the 1979 nickel, the errors that occurred would go on to create some of the most valuable and rare coins of that era. One of the most famous of these errors was the double die variety. A double die error happens when a coin is struck more than once by the die, resulting in a slight misalignment of the design elements. This error creates a distinctive, blurry, or double impression of the features on the coin. In the case of the 1979 nickel, a small number of coins were struck with this error, leading to what is now known as the 1979 double die nickel. These coins are extremely rare, and their unique characteristics make them highly coveted by numismatists. For collectors, finding a 1979 nickel with a double die error is akin to striking gold. The appeal of these error coins lies in their rarity and the fact that they offer a glimpse into the imperfections of the minting process. When collectors find a 1979 nickel with this specific error, they are holding a coin that is not just a piece of currency, but a unique artifact that was produced under unusual circumstances. The popularity of error coins, particularly the 1979 double die nickel, can be traced back to the growing interest in coin collecting during the 1970s. As more and more people began to take an interest in numismatics, the market for rare and unusual coins began to expand. The 1979 nickel, with its minting errors and the appeal of its historical design, quickly became one of the most sought-after coins of the era. As the years passed and the demand for rare coins grew, the 1979 nickel began to appreciate in value. What was once seen as just another run-of-the-mill coin had transformed into a prized collector's item. The rarity of the double die error, combined with the coin's historical significance and the popularity of the Jefferson series, made the 1979 nickel an essential addition to any serious collection. In addition to the double die error, there were other variations of the 1979 nickel that contributed to its appeal. For example, some of the 1979 nickels were struck with a die that was slightly misaligned, resulting in a coin with off-center features. These off-center coins are also highly prized by collectors, as they are considered unusual and visually striking. While these misaligned die coins are not as rare as the double die varieties, they still hold significant value, especially in well-preserved condition. Now, you may be wondering, what is the current value of the 1979 USA 5-cent coin, especially the varieties with minting errors? Well, the value of the 1979 nickel depends largely on the condition of the coin and whether it has any notable minting errors. A standard, well-preserved 1979 nickel might be worth just a few dollars, but when it comes to the rarer, error-struck coins, the value skyrockets. A 1979 double die nickel can fetch a price in the range of $136,000, depending on its grade and condition. Yes, you read that correctly. $136,000. That is the potential value of a high-grade, error-struck 1979 nickel. For collectors, this is the holy grail of coin hunting, a rare treasure that could turn an unassuming nickel into a small fortune. Even those 1979 nickels with less dramatic errors can still command significant prices, though they may not reach the six-figure mark. But for those who are fortunate enough to possess one of these rare coins, the value is undeniable. The 1979 USA 5-cent coin serves as a perfect example of how even the most ordinary-seeming items can hold immense value. What started as a simple coin minted for everyday transactions has now become a coveted piece of American history, cherished by collectors and investors alike. The 1979 nickel tells a story of the U.S. Mint's production process, the dedication of numismatists, and the enduring fascination with coins as both historical artifacts and valuable commodities. So, if you ever come across a 1979 nickel, take a closer look. It may just be more valuable than you think. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who is just beginning to explore the world of coins, the 1979 USA 5-cent coin is a fascinating and rewarding piece to add to your collection. And who knows? You might be holding onto a coin worth a lot more than you ever imagined. In 1999, a coin was minted that would become an unexpected legend in the world of numismatics. At first glance, the 1999 USA 5-cent coin, also known as the nickel, seemed just like any other coin in circulation. However, as time passed and the coin was studied more closely by collectors and historians, it became clear that this seemingly ordinary nickel held within it a wealth of history, rarity, and value. What began as a simple piece of currency soon captured the attention of those who understood the true potential of a rare coin. The journey of the 1999 USA nickel, from its creation, to its design, to the errors that would make it highly sought after, is one that reveals just how much a coin can mean, not only as money, but also as a symbol of American heritage and a potential investment. The historical context behind the 1999 5-cent coin is important to fully understand its significance. As the United States moved into the final year of the 20th century, the country was experiencing major changes. The economy was thriving during a period of unprecedented growth, the country was firmly in the digital age, and political figures like President Bill Clinton were reshaping the nation's future. It was a time of optimism, and that sense of hope was reflected in many aspects of American life, including coinage. The 5-cent coin, or nickel, had been a fixture in American currency since 1866, and over the years, it had undergone several changes in both design and composition. By the time the 1999 nickel was minted, it had been more than 6 decades since the classic Jefferson nickel design had been introduced. This design, featuring a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and an image of his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse, was both a tribute to one of America's founding fathers and a symbol of the nation's rich history. The coin had been in use for decades, and it had seen numerous changes in terms of the metal used for minting, the features included, and the minting process itself. In 1999, however, something unexpected happened. A subtle change in the minting process would set the stage for the coin's future value, as well as its collector appeal. While the basic design of the nickel remained the same, a few small, but significant, errors occurred during the minting process. These errors would go on to create some of the most valuable and highly sought-after versions of the 1999 nickel. But before diving into these rare and valuable varieties, it's essential to first look at the design itself and understand the larger context in which this nickel was created. The 1999 USA nickel, like its predecessors, featured the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. Jefferson's image had been used on the nickel since 1938 and had become an iconic representation of the nation's history. Thomas Jefferson, who served as the 3rd President of the United States and authored the Declaration of Independence, was an important figure in the founding of the nation, and his likeness was a fitting tribute to his contributions. The reverse of the coin continued to depict Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia plantation home. The image of Monticello had been on the reverse of the nickel since 1938, serving as a symbol of Jefferson's legacy and his dedication to American ideals. The design was simple, elegant, and timeless, a fitting tribute to one of the nation's most revered figures. However, despite the fact that the 1999 nickel appeared to be a continuation of the long-standing design, the minting process of this year would prove to be anything but ordinary. During the production of the 1999 nickel, several errors occurred that would lead to the creation of rare varieties of the coin. These errors were due to the intricate nature of the minting process, which involved the use of dyes, machinery, and pressing techniques that could occasionally malfunction. While such errors are not uncommon in coin production, they were particularly significant in the case of the 1999 nickel, as they resulted in coins with unique characteristics that would make them highly desirable to collectors. One of the most notable errors in the 1999 nickel was the double die variety. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to be stamped twice in slightly different positions. This results in a noticeable doubling effect, especially in the lettering and certain parts of the coin's design. In the case of the 1999 nickel, the double die error affected the obverse side, where Jefferson's portrait and the surrounding lettering were particularly prone to doubling. The result was a coin with a distinct appearance, one that could be easily identified by collectors who were on the lookout for such variations. Coins with this error became highly prized because of their rarity and the uniqueness of their design. In addition to the double die error, there were other types of minting errors that made the 1999 nickel stand out. One of the more common errors was the occurrence of off-center strikes. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or misaligned. In some cases, the design was shifted so much that part of the coin's image was cut off entirely. These off-center strikes, while less dramatic than the double die variety, were still considered rare and desirable by collectors. The uniqueness of each coin, with its imperfect and slightly off-center design, made these nickels valuable in the world of numismatics. Another important aspect of the 1999 nickel was its composition. Like many other coins minted during the late 20th century, the nickel was made from a mixture of copper and nickel. This composition gave the coin its familiar weight, color, and durability. The nickel's familiar appearance made it one of the most widely used coins in everyday transactions, and many of these coins were released into circulation, where they would eventually become worn down and lose their sharp details. However, a select few of the 1999 nickels were carefully preserved, kept in excellent condition, and protected from wear and tear. These well-preserved coins would go on to fetch higher prices in the collector market, as they represented the best examples of the coin in existence. Over time, the 1999 USA nickel, particularly the error-struck varieties, began to gain attention among collectors. The value of these rare coins began to rise as demand for them increased. The 1999 nickel was no longer just a piece of currency, it had become a valuable collector's item. Collectors who were able to find error coins, particularly the double die and off-center varieties, saw their investments appreciate as the years passed. Coins that had once been seen as just another part of everyday life were now being recognized for their rarity and historical significance. And now, as we reach the exciting part of the story, the value of the 1999 USA nickel has reached staggering heights. A well-preserved 1999 nickel with a double die error, or another significant minting mistake, can be worth an astonishing $118,000. That's right, $118,000 for a coin that, at first glance, might seem like just another piece of change. This figure is a testament to the rarity and collector demand for this particular coin. A 1999 nickel with the right characteristics can fetch a price that would make even the most seasoned numismatists take notice. It's worth noting that not all 1999 nickels will fetch such high prices. The value of the coin depends on factors such as its condition, whether it has any minting errors, and the demand from collectors at the time. However, the rarity of the error-struck varieties and the demand for well-preserved specimens mean that the 1999 nickel holds the potential for impressive financial rewards. The 1999 USA 5-cent coin is a prime example of how a seemingly ordinary object can hold immense value over time. What was once just another coin in circulation has now become a highly sought-after treasure, a symbol of America's history and a reflection of the intricate processes behind the minting of coins. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning to explore the world of numismatics, the 1999 nickel offers an exciting opportunity to own a piece of history, and who knows? It might even be worth far more than you ever imagined. So, if you happen to come across a 1999 nickel, take a closer look. It might just be the rare and valuable coin you've been searching for. Keep your eyes open for those double die errors, off-center strikes, and well-preserved examples, they could be worth more than you ever dreamed.